LL Cool J, but it's LOL Cool JT. I'm like, it makes no sense. But round of applause for LL Cool JT. We're in for a treat now. We're into the next level of comics, ladies and gentlemen. The second hour. This is where we're going to start seeing a little bit bump up in the career paths. And this next lady coming up, folks, female comics are so few and far between that when I do book one, I always bring them up to the same song. From multi-platinum recording, lesbian musical singer. Ladies and gentlemen, from Williston, Florida, by way of Ocala, Florida. She's a fast-growing comic in the ranks. Start clapping now. Start clapping now. Start clapping now for Miss Clarice Kentwood.
I'm not a lesbian. I've actually been married 28 years, though. And if anything will make you want to be a lesbian, it's being married 28 freaking years. No, I love my husband. So, my husband and I were from New Jersey. Round of applause, yeah, for anybody from up there. I don't know if you've heard about this, but they've outlawed plastic bags, right? So my mom, being from New Jersey as well, she lives down here, and we were taking a trip up there. Once a year we drive up there so she can go see her sister. And we go to pick her up. She comes out of the house with 2 Walmart bags filled with Walmart bags. Like, what the hell are you doing, Mom? She's like, I'm bringing these to my sister. She's like, they're illegal there, though, so hide them in the car. I'm like, sure, Mom, I'll hide them next to the 3 ounces of weed we're bringing, which I'm also going to tell the police are yours when we get pulled over. No, I love my mother, and I would never, intentionally let her serve time. She just recently went through a medical issue that she had, and she usually brings my sister, who's a physician's assistant. She knows how to ask the right questions to these doctors and stuff, but my sister had to work, so she got to bring her comic daughter. And I had my own questions about my mom's procedure. If she's going to have a hysterectomy, I want to know some things. Like, first of all, will she stop wandering the neighborhood now that I'm having her spayed? Will she stop attracting men from miles around, now that I'm having her spayed? And most importantly, will she finally stop licking herself? Because it's really getting hard every time I have to hit that button on that collar. It's spring, and I got a bird feeder, right? I sit out on my porch in the mornings and drink my coffee, and I put up this bird feeder, and I put it about 5 feet off the ground, and I've learned something, and that's that my cats can jump about 5.5 feet. And the bird feeder I got is really cool. It's electric, and it's got a camera on it, and as soon as it senses movement, it starts a video and takes a video, which is helpful because I, like to be able to see what my cats are eating every day. I have the largest collection of birdie snuff films on the internet. I'm just saying. The other day I was watching TV and I came across this commercial for this disease that I've never heard of, right? And it only affects men, and it's called Peyronie's disease. And what it is the man's dick is bent, right? And they said that 1 in 10 men suffer from this. And I count 1, 2, 3, 4, about 15 of yous. So somebody in here's got the bent dick. Oh, I can tell who it is, too, because your wife will look at you. You're the one, Harold. You're the bent dick one. She's who you're talking about. You're who she's talking about. it's sad for these people because the commercial and the website is bentcarrot.com. How nice is that? Bent carrot. I think that really men with Peyronie's just need to find women with tilted uteruses. And they'll both be happy, right? You know, I talked about the bird thing, and like since I've been feeding the birds, I've had this one bird that's been like flying at my window, right, for like 2 days now. Like, what the hell's up with this bird? And you know, I think that we should eat a lot more animals, right? Like we have like this list: pork, you know, cows, pigs, whatever. But like, why don't we eat other animals? I mean, I figure this bird's gonna die within a day, right? A day or two. And I mean, I don't know what Robin tastes like, but I'm pretty sure Batman knows. You know, the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I got a phone call from this guy from the Michael and Jeremy Steal Your podcast. And Michael calls me and he's like, hey, we're doing a podcast and we're looking for a female comedian to be on our podcast. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. I'll be on your podcast. He's like, well, now that I've talked to you a little bit, like I have a question. It's a little bit uncomfortable. But how old are you? I'm like, I'm 47. He's like, well, the podcast is about vaginas. Are you going to be okay and comfortable with that? I'm like, I've got one. I have experience with the tool. He's like, well, we'll call you and let you know. I mean, I'm assuming he went and found some like 20-year-old vagina to be on his little podcast. 2 weeks go by, the day of the podcast, 15 minutes before, he calls me up. He's like, hey, it's Michael. The person that we had gotten to be on our podcast canceled. So will you be on our podcast? I'm like, yes, I will. I will do your podcast, but let this be a lesson to you. This is why you go with the 47-year-old vagina. Because we are there for you when you need us. We are reliable. Usually because nobody else is using us. But, you know, the reasons aren't important. And of course, so I do this podcast, and there's these two dudes who are younger guys, and they want to start asking me questions about my vagina. And Jeremy is like, you know, I just got married, and my wife and I, we've been doing some different, you know, stuff. And have you, what kind of stuff have you put up your vagina? I'm like, other than penises? He's like, well, yeah, like we just did an ice cube. I'm like, oh, I've done an ice cube. I'm 47, not 67. I'm like, I've done the ice cube, but I gotta tell you, you really gotta stop at the ice cube. This is for you younger girls in particular. No matter what you may think about it being the right shape, the right size, even the right color, the answer is never Rocket Pop. Rocket Pop, no. Because I'll tell you something, it might feel good going in there, but there is no amount of water, soap, vinegar-based products that will get that unstuck. You have to go see a doctor. I mean, that thing glues shut. And when you go in and see that specialist about your glued shut vagina, when he lifts that sheet and sees red, white, and blue, his only response is, oh, how patriotic. God bless America. Who here, by round of applause, who here has like more than 2 or 3 cats? No? Okay, we have a cat person, right? So the other day, I have 4 cats. When you have one cat that's like staring at something on the wall, you could be like, dumbass cat, what the hell are you looking at? But I walked into my bathroom and 3 out of my 4 cats were staring up at the wall at the same spot. And you know when 3 cats are staring at something, there is something there. So, being from New Jersey, right, I think I've seen everything. I mean, I've been here 20 years. I walk into my bathroom and I see a spider that looks like it's carrying a Mentos. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't even know spiders like Mentos, right? So I'm like, I don't want to kill this spider and take away his Mentos. So I go and get a cup, and I go into the bathroom, and as I'm reaching up to get that freaking spider, he drops his Mentos, and I realize it's not a Mentos. It is a sack full of spider babies. Spiders went everywhere, like thousands of baby spiders. The cats are like toys. So I throw all the cats out, get the bug spray, and make the decision that all of the bath products in that shower are being sacrificed. It's just done. I sprayed bug spray. There was a cloud of bug spray in there. You wouldn't believe. I mean, I could barely breathe. Leave the bathroom, slam the door, and I made a sign of a spider with a line through it. Put it on the bathroom door. My husband comes home. I explain to him that we have to buy a new house. He says, okay, I've heard about your harrowing day, but what the hell's the deal with the sign on the door? He's like, you've told me about it. There's no need for the sign. I'm like, that's so the cats know not to go in there, you dork. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with a couple of pieces of advice tonight. Number 1, rocket pop no. Number 2, don't trust spiders carrying mints. And number 3, get your parents neutered or spayed. After the show tonight, I'll be selling rocket pop no stickers. If you want in on the joke, I'll be back there for a donation. My name's Clarice Kentwood. Thanks.
Give it up for Miss Clarice Kentwood. Y'all got